I don't believe it.
Martin.
I just had one as well. If that counts, I just had a little, how was your travel to West Africa? Was it good?
Yeah, it was.
I heard the jollof page as well. You tried Nigerian jollof and
I think it was my head off.
it's too spicy.
I was thinking to do it slightly less boiling hot stuff. But it was marvellous. Everybody was very friendly.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
What I couldn't get was the amount of how much people use social media.
Yeah, of course. Even with Android phones, even with no Wi-Fi, as soon as we've got like Wi-Fi and electricity, it's going to take over the world.
Do you go back again?
I go back once a year. I try to Nigeria. Yeah.
Well, they all think you're mum, so
They love me.
it's very good again.
Yeah, of course. Anytime.
You can get this problem.
Of course.
We're going to Gareth Southgate, so going to hopefully help us with leadership and all those kinds of stuff. So they're very involved, so it's not very nice.
As you know, the best is the doing terrible things to other people. I'm sure there will be ways
Probably would answer some of the questions that I feel wouldn't answer. It's very hard to really label that.
I'm sorry, we come to interrupt. Now, come and see me. The country on which table are you meant to be discussing?
So Your Royal Highnesses, ladies and gentlemen, Your Royal Highnesses, thank you so much for hosting this morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hesitate really, Sally, because many of you are the real experts on all this and are involved at the street level and you've experienced what it's all about. I just particularly want to say that, first of all, that I'm enormously grateful to all of you for giving up your precious time and joining us here today, because it just seemed to me that with this whole problem of youth crime, knife crime, violent crime becoming ever more prevalent, and the numbers of people being killed, which to me represents an immense health and safety horror, nothing else, let alone the miseries that poor parents and families have to go through, increasingly, because the statistics show that the numbers of people being murdered every year is going higher and higher and higher. And what I really wanted to say was that I've been involved with the Prince's Trust now for 42 years, I think. And look what it's done to me. But when I started it originally, one of the things that really worried me was the fact that there was no real means for recognizing and marking the transition between childhood and adulthood. Now, if you look, I did a bit of anthropology at Cambridge, believe it or not, if you look at so-called primitive societies, they all had a way of recognizing and marking that transition, which is so difficult during the adolescent period. And that was usually involved an initiation rite or something like that. But in our modern world, we've thrown all these things away, saying we're much more sophisticated, we don't need that. In fact, I remember just as an adolescent, that of course you need some framework, you need some motivation, you need something to get your teeth into at that period as they've identified, really between 14 and 19, when all the worst aspects of this knife crime ability seems to be happening. Once you get past 19, you're old and past it, and you're not so interested, it seems. So, what can we do to provide an alternative? And this is what I know you've all been discussing, because it seems to me that we have not realized the need to do more in the preventative side of things. So, for instance, again, after 42 years of the Prince's Trust, talking to so many young people, seeing what they were doing, trying to devise programs to help to provide self-esteem, self-worth, self-confidence, and so on, personal development, skills training, everything else. I also noticed that a lot of young, I suspect, were fed up with the, or weren't suited to the academic sausage machine in schools. Hence a lot drop out. And we end up very often with the Prince's Trust trying to help those people. Now, it seems to me the tragedy, and I've tried to say this for years, is that we have not recognized again the need for vocational education to help provide what is needed for all those people who don't find the strictly academic course what they actually need. So it seems to me a lot of people are discombobulated as a result of that. We need to recombobulate them. And also, there are not enough extracurricular opportunities in schools. And where they have got them, I've been fascinated to see the effect that they have. Whether it's team sports, rugby or anything else, or cadet units, or workshops of various kinds. All these things can provide that very important opportunity for young people. As somebody told me at one of the tables, between 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock in the afternoon is when the worst problems occur. When you finish school and whatever else you're doing after 6 o'clock. And it seems to me that we need to find better ways of helping people in that adolescent transition period to be able to take part in exciting, adventurous, constructive, sometimes risky if we get past health and safety, opportunities. Because at that age, people are more aggressive, they're more energetic. You need to find a way of helping to channel that. Boxing clubs are a brilliant way of doing it. I've seen some marvellous examples. Redcar, for instance, other places. Martial arts clubs, where people learn a code of conduct. And by learning that and self-discipline, because you're doing these, indulging these activities and sports, it's then easier, once you've had that experience, to be able to go on and do other things, to learn skills, etc., etc. I hope that as a result of all this, and all of you coming together, there may be a way, particularly with the social media platforms have been very kind to come today, to explore whether there are, for instance, as one of the tables was saying, can we find a better way of providing young people with an opportunity to discover where the alternatives are? Because at the moment, many of you have said that it's very difficult to find anything. And we can do a certain amount with the Prince's Trust, but we can only cover a small proportion, really, of all the young people. So opportunities like that would make an enormous difference, I suspect. Maybe there are more bloggers that people listen to. I mean, I'm rapidly getting out of date because all of you understand what everybody is listening to or watching or whatever. So I have to depend on all of you to suggest the best ways. But there must be better ways if we're going to prevent all these appalling disasters and tragedies happening to so many people's families. This is the thing that seems unacceptable, frankly. We should say enough is enough this time. We are really going to make a dent in this for the sake of so many young and so many families. And that should be our aim, it seems to me, through all sorts of different approaches, whether it's cadet units or all sorts of other activities. It can't be beyond the power of man or woman to find a way through on this one. And there may be opportunities of sponsorship or whatever, but I pray that as a result of all this, there may be a way of making a big dent in this enormous problem. So thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, so much for your time and your wisdom and experience. It's been hugely valuable. Thank you.
Thank you.